Hello and welcome. Since May 13th, we've been inundated with analysis and commentary on why the communist governments in West Bengal and Kerala lost the state elections the manner in which they did. Now, there have been a lot of contributions made to this debate by senior members of the left parties. One of them is my guest today on Beautiful People. Please welcome Politburo member of the CPIM and Rajya Sabha MP and career communist Sitaram Yechury. Mr. Yechury, there are a lot of people who believe that the left parties, the communist parties, should offer a viable alternative option to the Indian people. We already know that you have 41% of the vote share in West Bengal. We know that you almost bucked the anti-incumbency trend in Kerala. What do you tell these people about where your party is headed from here?
A lot of well-meaning people are really concerned about what you have said, and to them all and to the people of India, all that we are saying is, yes, the left's presence is there in this country, both in terms of its parliamentary electoral presence as well as its presence as a flag bearer of the people's issues and rights in the country. Now, both parliamentary and extra-parliamentary are our arenas of our work and influence, and if you actually look back into our history, you would find that the left's influence cannot really be measured by its parliamentary presence alone. That's important. I mean, nobody is discounting that. Whether it's the question of, let's say, at the time of a country's independence, the whole issue of secular democracy as a foundation, was the issue of bringing land to the central agenda, abolition of zamindari, was the question of linguistic reorganization of the states. On all these things, it was communist-led movements that actually brought this onto the agenda.
Right.
Now, that is a role that the left will definitely continue to play. Now, if we had a better presence in the parliament and legislatures, then the role would have been much more.
Genuinely, what is it that you're saying is the reason for the kind of electoral loss you saw in West Bengal?
There have been some mistakes that were committed in Bengal in terms of the programs that we have undertaken. And these are issues that require genuine correction from our side. And these are issues that we have pinpointed, and we are in the process of rectifying. For instance, the entire issue of Singur has become a big issue, and then the whole perception was created that after all it was the left that started this entire issue of land and land reform, and now they are the ones who are grabbing land back from the farmers. But that is not the case actually. I mean, somewhere down the line, the actual reality, in explaining that reality to the people, there was a mismatch or a break. I believe, and we all believe, that people in Bengal are convinced that you have reached a plateau of development as far as the land reforms are concerned. Any further improvement in the life of the people will depend on industrialization and job creation. Now, that is a given fact, but how do you go about doing that? There, in that process, there were mistakes committed, which led to this alienation, and that needs to be corrected, and that is being corrected. So, we have to get back to the people in Bengal, which we are doing. And remember, 34 years of 7 consecutive elections, I mean, it's an unprecedented record.
It's unprecedented. In fact, you and your colleagues seem to suggest that, it was almost inevitable that anti-incumbency had to catch up with you all. That seems to be the suggestion. But what is the role that the CPM cadres have played in West Bengal in bringing about this loss? The Communist Party is supposed to be about a bottom-up people's movement-led party, but in the last 5 years, it became top-down. The people, the cadres, your famous cadres, actually began running people's lives. How much control does the central leadership and even the state leadership have on cadres? I want to understand that.
That is a wide exaggeration, I would say, because you see, such charges have been there against us in the past as well, but nevertheless, people still voted for us. So, it is not that the cadre in that sense is something that is condemnable in the sense that they are doing something that, which is causing all these problems for the party. No, it's after all the cadre that is actually taking what the party's policies are to the people. I mean, they are the key link, and in that sense, they are the living essence of our party organization. But the cadre running the lives of the people, that's what you said, I mean, that is most unfair in the sense. But there is also a problem there, I recognize, and that I'll just give you an example so that people will also understand. When we started this Panchayati Raj system in Bengal, which predates the Constitution amendment by over a decade, in fact, the number of elected posts that emerged out of this panchayat system was much larger, many times larger than our party membership.
So you're saying a lot of people came into the system as a result?
No, came in towards us also as a result.
Fair enough.
But not because of our ideology or want a commitment to the people, but thinking that
the access to power.
And by the time you identify who is genuine, who is not, the damage is done. And such people, many such people we keep throwing out annually. In fact, we have the largest rate of people being thrown out of the party on such charges. But that is a fact. People are coming. By the time you identify the wrong they do, and then you throw them out of the party, by then they have already done the damage.
The party General Secretary Prakash Karat has written in the People's Democracy, and I'm quoting him, given the class nature of the ruling alliance, there will be efforts to undo the land reforms and undermine the gains achieved by the working people. And yet, interestingly, a lot of people feel today that Mamata Banerjee actually epitomizes the working class and the people who have nothing. So then to say that the class nature of the ruling alliance just seem very contradictory.
If after all, if appearances were true, then the world would be entirely different place. Eventually, it's not the way you look, but what you do. Eventually, you have to decide on the basis of where do you stand, which side do you stand. We have stood by those people who were landless, who were given land by the land reform process. If you stand on the other side to allow the former landlords to regain control over their land, then you are on either side of the divide. Now that is the divide that is there in Bengal today. So what you see, I mean, ostensibly as political clashes, are basically clashes that are taking place on a very, very serious issue of control of land.
You talked about that image is not everything and perception is not everything. Dare I suggest that the Communist Party, the Communist Party of India, Marxist, needs
an image makeover.
An image makeover, a marketing consultant, call it what you will, all anathema to you, I'm sure. But does it need it, Mr. Yechury? Because, there are a lot of things that people just don't credit you all for where it is deserved. And there is a perception that, in national politics, that especially what we've seen with the experience of your support to the UPA 1, that you all have been people who have only obstructed, who have only gotten the way of governance, and these are perceptions.
There are these perceptions, then they need to be corrected, no? Okay, I mean, if they are not being corrected and the perceptions are persisting, then we have to also, try and see what correctives are required. For instance, UPA 1 that you mentioned, tell me, a 61 strong group of the left, without a shopping list for the government, without indulging in anything like your 2G scam or whatever it is, gave a sense of not merely stability, but also a content and direction to that government, whether Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, whether the right to the tribals to your forest produce, whether right to information
See,
act.
you have to announce this every time you get a platform. Nobody credits these things to you and your party.
But it's unfair,
by itself. No? Is there something that is going wrong with what you all are about and what you all are doing that people understand? And really, what is the soul searching that you can share with us that's happening on that front?
No, one is this aspect of saying, why are we not able to convey to the people actually what we are doing? And to the people who really receive the benefits, they are able to realize. But the general perception of, let's say, the very important middle class that you have in our country, is entirely different. And I suspect that has got a lot to do with the normal, stereotypes, images that you have or perceptions that you have of communism in general and of a communist party. For instance, this very middle class actually I wouldn't say, I'm not being very pompous in saying it should be grateful, but I'd say at least should take note of the fact that if we had not stopped the UPA 1 from taking 4 financial liberalization reforms, if we had not stopped them, India would have been ruined in this global financial crisis. Your banking reform, your insurance reform, your privatization of your pension funds, and your convertibility of the rupee.
The viewers of CNBC hold it against you.
Why? Tell them they are saved, otherwise they would have all been ruined. They'll be completely ruined, because if at all we could cushion ourselves today, we did that because we did not go in for these reforms. And no, everybody else, including the then governor of the Reserve Bank, the current Prime Minister, all of them today, whether they are willing to publicly state or not, but they acknowledge the fact that yes, because we didn't do this, that's why we saved ourselves. That's why I keep saying, even if you call us the devil, give the devil its due.